I think we're good to get started, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Cool.
what it
No, I'm sorry.
Alright, cool. As always, thank you for joining us for today's daily Bible reading. I'm Cleo, and this is
Xavier.
And today we are going to be continuing our reading of Numbers. Last time we read Numbers 14 through 19. We got to read about the story of Korah. We got to learn a lot about just pride, how pride could lead us astray, and lifting ourselves up. We force the Lord to abase us because the Lord hates the proud. About just basically just getting caught in our own arrogance and going against the ways of the Lord. His set order, believing we know better. But yeah, today we should be picking up with Numbers 20, and since today is 27th, doesn't matter. Today we'll be reading Proverbs 30 and 31 to just conclude our daily Proverbs, because Sunday it will be March 1st, and we'll start back up at Proverbs 1. Yeah, with that, I think we are good to go ahead and start with Proverbs 30. Do you want me to get it?
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, cool. Proverbs 30 and verse 1. The words of Agur, the son of Jacob, even the prophecy, the man spake unto Ithiel, even to Ithiel, who called. Surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom nor the knowledge of the holy. Who hath ascended up into the heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fist? Who hath bound the waters in his garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? Was his name, and was his son's name, if thou canst tell? So here it's like it says, words of Agur, sons of Jacob. But to the point, it's like, well, I'm brutish. I'm not considered a wise man. I have neither wisdom nor the knowledge of the holy. But who is this person that has ascended and gone down the heavens, who gathers the wind? And really here he's speaking about the Lord, where the Lord is the person who does these things. The Lord is the one who has the real wisdom and the real power. Verse 5. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. So he's talking about God. His word is pure. And he is a shield to them that trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. So stick to what he says. Don't add to it. Or even, as Revelation puts it, don't add or take away from the words of his book. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Lest I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal, and take the name of my God in vain. So just give me enough that I'm not rich, so I don't get proud, the same way as like Korah. So I don't get proud. Don't give me too many riches. But don't give me little, else I will need to steal to survive. So just give me enough to where I won't be tempted to sin either way. 10. Accuse not a servant unto his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be found guilty. There's a generation that curses their father, and doth not bless their mother. There's a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There's a generation, oh how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There's a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. This generation is not even really one, like he's talking about specific generation of people at some point in the earth. It's just saying, we have these people who exist. The world is getting increasingly worse, where we have more people with lofty eyes. Lofty really just mean proud. We have more people constantly who are just more and more arrogant. People who don't respect their father and their mother, right? Which is like one of the 10 commandments, like Exodus 20, right? Honor your father and your mother. Whose teeth are as swords and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth and need from among men. So they don't respect or help the poor and the needy. And they speak awfully against them. What it's talking about there with the teeth as swords and teeth as knives. 15. The horse leech hath 2 daughters, crying, give, give. These are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yea, 4 things say not, is enough. The grave and the barren womb. The earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that saith not, it is enough. The eye that mocketh at his father and despiseth to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagle shall eat it. There be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, four which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I've done no wickedness. And here it's even using the example of like an adulterous woman, where like she does not acknowledge the wickedness she's done in committing adultery. But that can really apply to all of us in whatever sin that we've committed, or sin we are committing. Where we try to go, oh, well, it's not that bad, or we try to make light of it. But you can't, because to God, all sin is equal, right? The breaker of the least is the breaker of them all, right? It doesn't matter what law you've broken, you are a sinner against the Lord, no matter what law. So we can't just go, oh, we have done no wrong. 21. For three things the earth is disquieted, and for four which it cannot bear. For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. For an odious woman when she is married, and an handmaid that is heir to her mistress. There be four things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no kings, yet go they forth all of them by bands. The spire taketh hold with her hands, and is in kings' palaces. There be three things which go well, yea, four are comely in going. A lion which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any. A greyhound, and he goeth also, and a king against whom there is no rising up. If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thine hand upon thy mouth. Surely the churning of milk bringeth forth butter, and the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood. So the forcing of wrath bringeth forth strife. Yeah. And even there, I really like those last two. If thou hast done foolishly lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thine hand upon thy mouth. Basically, stop yourself, self-examine and acknowledge what is within you, and stop yourself from committing sin. Like if you know, there's this arrogancy within you, hold your tongue. Don't speak. You don't want to say something in arrogance that you shouldn't. Or like I said, if thou have a thought evil, if you have an evil thought, stop yourself from saying it. That's why examine, or even wisdom, they talk about discretion, especially with the tongue. Think about what you're going to say with wisdom before you say it. And then even just the same way, when you churn milk, you get butter, and the wringing of the nose bring forth blood. So if you punch someone in the nose, they're going to get a bloody nose. So the forcing of wrath bring forth strife. And I think there's a term for that nowadays. What's it? People call it rage baiting. I know, a more colloquial term, but that's what people call it. Where just you're purposely trying to make someone angry, and all it's gonna do is just make. I mean, it sounds obvious, right? All it's gonna do is cause strife.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that's all I have to say about 30. Was there anything that caught your eye?
Not really, man. I feel like you did a pretty good job. I don't really have anything else to add to that. So, nothing else? Chapter 31?
Yep, all you.
Alright, 31 verse 1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb, and the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ship, she bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and she giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth the field and buyeth it, With the fruit of her hand she planted the vineyard. She girded her loins with strength and strengthened her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hands to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her households are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth up her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Amen.
Good reading.
Thank you, man. What you guys?
I think Proverbs 31 is a really good chapter. I think even like people will always like go like I think a lot of times it's called like the virtuous woman chapter. It spends a lot of time talking about it, right? And I think probably one of the most famous verses from this chapter is verse 30. Favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but the woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Where, you know, favor, like whoever is like lifted up, whoever is like considered higher than another, right? Especially in this light, is deceitful, right? Just because like someone could be a queen but not be able to virtuous than a woman who's like considered like a peasant, right? So favor is deceitful. You would think that would always be the case. The queen is more righteous or virtuous. Not far from always being the case. And beauty is vain. Because really, at the end of the day, physical beauty, especially when beauty standards are just like, depends on the person, right? Beauty is vain. Like, it has no real meaning. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. And, of course, it's like, we're talking about women, so 100% goes for women, but even a man too, right? But at the end of the day, that's the point that matters, the fear of the Lord, not any of these other things.
To that point, 1 Peter 3, and I think Proverbs 31 does a good job of kind of making it make sense for 1 Peter 3. But 1 Peter 3 and 3, and he's talking about the women or the wives. But he says, whose adorning let him not be outward adorning of plaiting of the hair, or of the wearing of gold, or of the putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, meaning she has integrity. Even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of a great price. So he's just saying, don't like, your adorning is not your outward appearance. And like Proverbs 31 verse 30 says that you were saying, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman, like beauty, you can have a beautiful wife and hate your life because she's not a good wife. You get what I'm saying? But this chapter really, it's two things that I want to hit on personally. The first thing is, this is a woman talking to her son. And what she tells him in verse 3 is, give not your strength unto women. Right? Like the power that you hold as a man, don't give that. Like we see people like Samson or people like, what was her name? The one that Elijah was scared of. Jezebel. Like we have these examples of men literally giving their power to these women and it doesn't go good for them. So I think that's important. Like, I kind of look at it like this, right? You have an example of Adam. Adam was given the law. Adam was given, don't eat from this tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? And his wife then ended up eating and she brought it back to her husband and he did eat. Point being, it was his job to stop. Like, he kind of fell for that almost. Versus when you go to a person like Job, and when Job's wife came and was like, curse God and die, he was like, what was his statement again? He was like, you speak it as a foolish woman.
Yeah.
Like, you sound dumb right now.
Yeah, speak it as a
you get what I'm saying? So, like, I look at those two as an example of this verse. Like, don't We get it. You know, this y'all help me. We love these women, things of that nature. Don't give your power to them. Like, it's, you know. But then number 2 is, man, like, when we read this chapter, it's talking about how this woman is consistently working. You get what I'm saying? Like, she's consistently doing something. And you can read this whole chapter and see them, but in verse 27 it says, she looketh well unto the ways of her household. So she's diligently looking and taking care of the household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Like, she's not just sitting there doing nothing all day. She's looking well for the ways of her household. What else? 15, she riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. So the point being, like, she's diligently putting in work for this household, for her husband, for her family. And so I just want to put it out there that sometimes, you know, you can claim to be a virtuous woman, but like, this is what it looks like. It is a woman that is putting in work, diligently taking care of her family. What does it say? She is not 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household. Like, she's preparing in advance. She's wise and taking care of stuff before the need even comes. Like, she's not even afraid of the snow for her household. For all the households are clothed with scarlet, like they're taken care of in advance. But point being, these are like the qualities. It's not just a virtuous woman. It's like, no, there's action behind it that needs to be done. So yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else though?
I mean, I'm not about the woman point, but 8 and 9. Just 2 things to look at. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth that judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Where we all should be, part of being a servant of the Lord is defending, protecting the fatherless, protecting the needy. Fatherless and the widow, as the book puts it a lot of the time. But also those who are in need or needy. Here, like he gives an example of those are dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed for destruction. Plead the cause of the poor and needy, where all of what we all should be doing should be about helping others, especially those who are less fortunate, right? And whether that is like helping them directly, like if someone needs money, give them money. Someone needs help with walking across the street, help them walk across the street. Do all of that, but also in defense of them too, right? Like you see someone being mistreated, or you see something being done against someone that is not right or correct. Like it says here, open thy mouth, judge righteously, plead the cause of the poor. Like you should, or like intervene, like work to help them, right? And that is something that, like, unfortunately, we see a lot of in this lifetime, right? Especially in many different ways in this country. So, but it's always important to remember that charity is the bond of perfectness. That is one of, like charity, like love unfeigned, I think we've been talked about before, is one of like the key things of being a servant of God, like empathy and helping those who are in need. But yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Peace, Sister Exodus. Blessed have it.
Yeah. Peace. Oh, peace, tender-eyed sister. Peace. Peace. But yeah. With that being said, I think we're ready to go to Numbers 20?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Go there beforehand. Numbers 20 and verse 1. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. So now, like at this point, and we're going to see that as we move throughout like the rest of Numbers, time is going to start going by very quickly. Because at this point, the Lord's cursed them to wander for 40 years because they didn't want to go up there and fight. They're too scared. Right? So now they're going to be stuck here wandering for these 40 years. So we're going to just see a large zoom time. So like here, it's already been, we don't know how many years, but to the point Miriam's dead now. It's the first month. What year? We don't know. Miriam's dead. Right? 2. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. As though they had not learned enough, they were getting mad at Aaron again. Aaron and Moses. And the people chilled with Moses, and spake, saying, Would God that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord? That could be a few different times, because of how much they were sinning. But still, they're chiding against Moses because of their lack of faith. 4. And why we brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cows should die there. Remember, they're supposed to die there because of their iniquity. So they already should know the reason why this is happening. 5. And whereof have ye made us to come out of Egypt to bring us into this evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So shalt thou give the congregation and their beasts. Very clearly, we'll see, I'm bringing this up, because we'll see what happens later. Very clearly, the Lord tells them, okay, go up, speak to the rock, and water will come out of it for the congregation. Verse 9. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. So Moses hit smote means hit. So he hit the rock with his rod twice, and then water came out of it. It was different than what the Lord told him to do, right? Why he did this, not really sure. Could have just been the people made him that angry. Because we saw before when, was it Exodus 25, when the golden calf happened, he got mad enough that he threw he threw the 2 tables of stone, which had the 10 commandments on it. So just many people was mad. 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, Because ye believe me not, that sanctified me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. So because he didn't obey, Moses was not permitted to go into the promised land. He couldn't bring them into the promised land, which is why, we'll see later, spoilers, I guess, in the Deuteronomy, he dies just right before they went into the promised land. And Joshua, in the book of Joshua, is the one who takes them over there. Verse 13. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, Thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us. Because remember, Edom comes from Esau. So, they are, at this point, they're, distant cousins. But Israel and Edom were brothers, directly. Their namesakes of the nations were brothers, right? That's why it says, Thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us, what happened to them in Egypt. Our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time. And the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields, or through the vineyards. Neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand, nor to the left, until we pass thy border. So he's asking for just safe passage to get through the land of Edom. To try to get to where they're trying to go. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, We will go by the highway. And if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against them with much people, with a strong hand. So they're trying to just like, hey, we just want to get through it. They're like, no, you're not coming through here. And they come out even just with an army, just to stop them. 21. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. So like Aaron himself too, couldn't go either. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up into Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there on the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel. So now Aaron's died, and the mantle has been given to Eleazar to be the high priest. And yeah, that's chapter 20.
One of the biggest things that sticks out to me is we read it as this kind of a light thing, but Moses, God told Moses, bro, your brother about to die. Take all that priest stuff off of him, raise up Eleazar to be the next priest. But point being, I don't know. I just look at that dang, that's my brother, but he did what the Lord said to do. We talked a lot, especially coming right off the core situation and how, their loyalty was with man and not God. Even this is another example of Moses' loyalty being with God. This is what God says to do. There is no switching out of this, which we're going to read in a few chapters. Balaam's pretty funny. He's going to talk like that, but that's the truth. What God says is what God says. And Moses understood that. Moses was like, all right, well, hey, Aaron, I love you, man. But this got to happen. So.
Yeah. Peace, Jennifer. I think even the important thing to recognize from Numbers 20 is that both Aaron and Moses were confident, because the Lord told them both this thing, and they didn't listen. But the point that who Aaron and Moses were, Aaron being the high priest, the highest you really can get as a man, and then Moses, who was even above Aaron, being a person who could talk directly with the Lord, because they were not just given a pat on the shoulder because of their disobedience, right? Where they were punished, right? And we would even you said a small thing where going to the hitting the rock instead of talking to the rock. Because even when we were to go back, there was a time where the Lord said, if you want water from this rock, hit the rock. Yeah. So now the Lord has just told him to do something different than he did before. And he did what he did before, right? But regardless, he didn't do what the Lord told him to do now. Right? And just for that reason alone, because he didn't listen, neither one of them. One time. Aaron is now dead. And Moses he'll eventually die. But he didn't get to see the promised land either. He didn't get to go into the promised land either. So it's in the same way where it's we really sometimes will think sin is not that big of a deal. The Lord is merciful, so on and so forth, which he is. The Lord is merciful. But mercy means you get less than what you should. If you owe me $2,000 and I say you only need to give me back $50, that's mercy. And that's a lot of mercy. Right? Bless you. And that's a lot of mercy. But that doesn't mean that nothing happens to you. And being in the Lord's mercy is not that he just allows you to do anything with no consequence in the same way. Right? Where we can't even get ourselves caught up that, oh, the Lord is so merciful, or the Lord loves me so much that like he won't do anything to me. The Lord won't punish me for my sin. The Lord won't throw me in the lake of fire. So on and so forth. Where excuse me. No one has talked No one has talked to the Lord face to face like Moses did. No one has. Right? Even if you were trying to go like the Pope. No, not the Pope. Literally. Excuse me. Literally, no one has. I don't know why my throat's so raw. Literally, no one has talked to the Lord face to face like Moses did. Right? So, if the Lord did not extend that same... Like, if the Lord didn't give that mercy to Moses and just, like, wink at his sin because he was disobedient to God, right? So, it was sin, right? If the Lord didn't wink at it and still punished him, how can we think that he would do the same, right? It's the same God. It's the same person. This is a whole other thing we get dive deeper into a bit later. But Jesus is the God of the Old Testament, right? Jesus Christ is the person we see back here. And you get that from your John 1, as well as Matthew and so many other places.
What was it, 1 Corinthians 10?
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 10. You get that from basically the entire book of Hebrews, where Jesus was this person here. Even that's why we read Numbers before. I said Numbers. Proverbs 30. Who has descended? Who's descended? Who has gone up? Who did that? Who created the heavens? Who created the earth? That's all talking about Jesus. He's the same way he talks about Matthew. Jesus was the only one who came down, and he's the only one who ever go up. Right? And they said, who was his name? Was his son's name? Right? Where it's talking about two people there. Where even when you go back to Genesis 1, side note, we should make man in our image. There are two people there. But it's all still back to the same point. Same dude, so we can't expect it to be different for it was with Moses than it was for us. I mean, granted, I would say Moses got way more mercy than we would get. He was Moses, right? Lord hasn't talked to me face to face. I don't feel or expect I'm going to get the same mercy he got. So if that was just that one thing, and he got that, what am I going to get for my way more than one thing, right?
Yeah. So now we move on without Moses' siblings.
Yeah, Aaron and Miriam did die in this chapter.
Yeah, Aaron died. And as you was talking about, Moses sealed his fate. He's going to... And it's interesting because he's put in so much work
up to this point.
Yeah, to get his whole purpose. Shoot, there was a time period where God said, "I'm gonna kill all of them and restart with you." Moses was never the issue. But it's also another thing that we've talked about controlling your emotions.
Yeah.
Because that's what he did. Even when you bring up, because you got to think how crazy that really is. For God to write on these stones the law, and then you go down and just throw them. That's kind of crazy. But they made you that mad. And some argue you're mad on behalf of God. So, how can one blame you? But when, in this chapter 20, where it's he could have been angry, but his anger led him to be disobey God. Right? And that's why when we read in Proverbs tells us things like, what does it say? A wise man keepeth away his wrath and stuff like that. Long story short, you're in control of your emotions. Hence, one of the fruits of the Spirit is temperance or self-control, being able to control yourself, and things of that nature. So that's something that's big. And one slip-up caused Moses to not be able to enter into what he's been working for this whole time. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I think, like, even when I really think about it, it's like it's a bad punishment because he got to see the land, right? But he didn't get to go into it.
Right.
But really think about it, it was not too bad. I mean, like, obviously the Lord could have done worse, right?
Yeah.
But even thinking about Moses, when he was going in there to rescue them from Pharaoh, was 80. We know at this point the Lord's capped the years at 120, right? And that's, even we saw, like, even Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob only lived to, like, so far around that point, right? And then Joseph as well, because we also got, I believe we got his age too. It was around that point. Moses died, when he died, he was 120. So, and that was when they were entering the land. So realistically, he wasn't going to live much longer past that point. He probably would have just walked into the land and then died. That's essentially probably how likely it was going to happen for him. And even for, like, Aaron, too. Probably it would have been that long likely that they would have. Of course, the Lord, anything's possible. They could have lived way longer. And that just, like, got cut off because of this, right? Well, to the point that, like, the Lord could have done a lot. Even just in being merciful, the Lord could.
I bet part of that mercy was even, like, him being able to be by himself, like, to die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, he could have went in there, and as we'll read, Israel don't change. They're the same stiff-necked, hard-headed people. So, you know what I'm saying? I think him dying, being able to just look. But anyway, point being, his emotions, he lost control of his emotions. It made him angry potentially and caused him to sin. So, but other than that, you got anything?
Nope.
All right, chapter 21, verse 1. And when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord and said, if thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. So now Israel's going up against the Canaanites, and Israel makes a vow unto him and says, Lord, if you deliver us this people, we're going to kill all of them. We're going to destroy their cities and everything. So, verse 3. And the Lord hearkened unto the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And when the people saw God, and when the people spake against God and against Moses, wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water. And our soul loatheth this light bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. So we see right after that, it says the soul of the people was discouraged because of the way, and they started complaining. It says our soul loathed this light bread, like they hated this bread. Point being, but they was just being ungrateful, things of that nature, just complaining, consistent theme with Israel. So God sent the fiery serpents among the people, and they bit them, and a lot of people ended up dying. Verse 7. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. Like, Israel's going to continue to remind me of Pharaoh. And when it said Pharaoh was, what was that word? No. But it says a word which basically meant,
obstinate? I don't know if that was the word that was used.
But the word meant, like, because it was peace for a time, meaning God's not on your butt. You know what I'm saying? And as you begin to, like, when we read it about Israel, one thing about Israel was they will complain, and as soon as God punished, it's like all of a sudden they back in their right mind. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Or they would lose faith, and it's like as soon as God punished them or showed them, now they're back in their right mind. I say that to say that cannot be us. But so they went to Moses and was like, pray unto the Lord, take away the servants. And so Moses did that. Verse 8, and the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth and pitched in Ejah-Abiram, and in the wilderness which is before Moab, towards the sunrising. From thence they were moved and pitched in the valley of Zered. From thence they were moved and pitched on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coast of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, what he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Arnon, and at the stream of the brooks that goeth down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth up the borders of Moab. And from thence they went to Beer, that is the well whereof the Lord spake unto Moses. Gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, the noble of the people digged it, by the direction of the lawgiver with their staves. And from the wilderness they went to Matana, and from Matana to Nahalil, and from Nahalil to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley that is in the country of Moab to the top of Pisgah, which looketh toward Jeshimon. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields, nor into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we pass thy borders. And Sihon will not suffer Israel to pass through his borders. But Sihon gathered all the people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. So now Israel's coming to the Amorites. Same thing happened with Edom, things of that nature. It's like, hey, just let us pass through. We don't want no problems. It says we're not going to turn to the fields. We're not going to turn to the vineyards. We're not going to mess with any of your stuff. We just want to pass by. But of course they said no, and they went out to fight with Israel. Verse 24. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from Arnon unto Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all the cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, and Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. So Israel beats the Amorites, and now they're taking all this stuff. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It hath consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high priest of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab, thou art undone, O people of Chemosh. He hath given his sons that escaped, and his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished even unto Dibon, and we have laid them waste even unto Nophah, which reacheth unto Medeba. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moses sent spies out Jazer, and they took out the villages thereof, and drove out the Amorites that were there. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan. And Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to the battle of Edrei. And the Lord said unto Moses, fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people, and his land. And thou shalt do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. So they smote him, and his sons, and all his people, until there was none left him alive, and they possessed his land. Yeah.
Just reading. Yeah. I mean, just we have a lot of the just a lot of just some of the Canaanites, like the Amorites, the Moabites, that were, I will technically they weren't derived from the Canaanites, but just people who lived in the land. Point being that they have started, because at this point, like I've said before, we can't really You know what? I could make an attempt. Hold on. I could make a very quick attempt. I don't have a map. So I have to do this a little bootleggy, but if they're very bootleggy, if I'm being honest. But at this point, and this is important for like later stuff too. I'm trying to see what you guys can see on the screen. But so if we're looking at like this is very poor rendition. This is Africa. Yeah, you guys can see this. Oh yeah, okay, so I can see exactly what you guys can see. So yeah, I'll draw it a little further out then. So like this is Africa, right? Imagine very poor rendition of Africa. Yeah. And then we have like the horn down here. So this is a poor rendition of Africa. So the land of Egypt is here, right? So in the land, with the land of Egypt, I'll just circle it. So we'll say the land of Egypt's there. There's a bit of land connecting it right here. It looks a little something like this. And this area here is what's called the Red Sea. You know, the one that like Moses split. So next to this little area, which is when we talk about Mount Sinai or the wilderness of sin and stuff of that nature, that's all here in this little area, right? But then actual Israel, or even what you call like the Middle East, if you don't like know geography that much, is like here. I had to like go over and erase the Red Sea. The actual Middle East is here kind of like this. So you have like the wilderness, you have like the Red Sea here, and then you have, this would be modern day Israel, this is like Jordan, and like this is like all here, like Saudi Arabia. But all to the point that at this point in the story, they've gone from Egypt, which is here, they've gone and been in the wilderness of Sinai. But now at this point, they're no longer here. They've moved to the other side of where Israel currently is. They are where modern day Jordan is now. Because that used to be called the land of the Moabites and Ammonites. So they are here now. And that's even when, like we'll see in the beginning of Joshua, they cross the Jordan River, which separates Israel and Jordan. So at this point, and that's even why at this point they start conquering some of the lands. Because at this point, these parts of the land of what we call now Jordan, that were the land of the Ammonites and the Moabites, would be part of the nation of Israel. And like we'll even see the Lord divides up the inheritance, and parts of the inheritance do go to like some of the tribes of Israel of this area here. It's just that eventually, through times of war and so on and so forth, it got split up. So now it's technically not part of what's considered now the nation of Israel. But we're talking biblically, all of this was the nation of Israel at a certain point. It just got lost throughout time. But so like this is where they currently are. They're not over like in this area anymore. They've completely moved over here. Which is, I gave a really small rendition. So if you want like larger, this is like the wilderness. This is all of what would be Saudi Arabia, so much larger. And then like this is Israel. This is Jordan. This is where Mount Sinai was. And then this is where they are now. And this is like, I'll just write modern Israel. So that is so, and they've moved over here, and this is like Ammon and Moab. So yeah. That is like how all that ends up working out. So they're just not here anymore. They moved over here. Which is important to note because at this point, even though they technically haven't entered the promised land, they're conquering what would be the land of Israel. Which is why they're fighting at this point. Because it's not just that they're meeting people on the road. These are like the lands that they're supposed to take over. Oh, yeah. Anything else about 21?
Nah.
No.
Nope.
Alright, cool. Yeah. 22. Bless you. Numbers 22 and verse 1. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab on this side Jordan by Jericho. So like they're on this side Jordan. They haven't crossed it. And Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Ammon was sore afraid of the people, because there were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. O Moab said unto the elders of Midian, how shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as the ox licketh up the grass of the field? And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. So Balak, who is the king of the Moabites, is just scared, because he's seen what they did to the Amorites, and now he's worried that they're coming for the Moabites next. 5. He sent messengers, therefore, unto Balaam, the son of Beor, to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call them, saying, behold, there's a people come out from Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom thou blessest is blessed, and he whom thou curses is cursed. So he's calling Balaam up here, saying, like, well, you have the power that whoever you bless is blessed, and whoever you curse is cursed. So come up here, curse these people, because I'm afraid they may try and get me. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they spake unto Balaam, and spake unto him the words of Balak. So they even got like rewards for him, trying to get him like monetize it. Like, oh, we have something to like sweeten the deal. And he said unto them, lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Lord shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. So he's trying to like petition of the Lord. It's like, what should I do? And God came unto Balaam and said, what men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath sent unto me, saying, behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them, peradventure I shall be able to overcome them, and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, thou shalt not go with them, thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. So God said, well, no, you're not going to curse these people, you're going to bless them. And Balaam rose up in the morning, and said unto the princes of Balak, get you into your land, for the Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went to Balak, and said, Balaam refuseth to come with us. And Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam, and said unto him, thus saith Balak the son of Zippor, let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me. For I'll promote thee unto very great honor, and I'll do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. So now Balak's like, hey, Balaam, I will give you anything. Anything your heart could desire, I'll promote you. I'll make you one of the greatest men in my kingdom. And whatever you want, you could have. I just need you to curse these people. And Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. But he's saying, hey, you could give me like all of everything that you have. All of your house full of silver and gold. But I can't go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. I can't do what the Lord has told me not to do. Now therefore I pray you, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. And God came unto Balaam at night to petition him again, and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I say to thee, that shalt thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass, and went with the princes of Moab. So now he's going. And God's anger was killed because he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his 2 servants were with him. So now the Lord's anger is killed against him. Because really, I told you in the first place, don't go. Like you're not, these people are to be cursed. Like he's telling you to curse them, no. But then these people are to be blessed. So don't even go. But now he's petitioning them because he wants the rewards, he wants the money, but he's trying not to make the Lord mad. So he's like, oh, I'll ask again. But the Lord already gave his answer. But now the Lord's so like, all right, go up there, but what you do is what I tell you to do. But still, he's like, even this whole situation you're asking me again is because like I already gave you my answer. So like there's an angel in the way, and he's riding on his ass, like his donkey. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the donkey saw the ass. Even this is being moved by the Lord, right? So the donkey sees the angel, and the ass turned aside out of the way. So, and the donkey goes a different way from the angel he's seeing. And he went into the field, and Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. And so Balaam's now trying to get the donkey to go back into the road so he can leave. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. So the angel's like blocking the way, and the donkey doesn't want to go by the angel. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the donkey's trying so hard not to be around the angel, has crushed Balaam's foot. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place, where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And Balaam keeps hitting the darn donkey. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass. So again, the Lord's moving this, so he's opened the mouth of the donkey. And so it can speak. And she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, behold, because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in my hand, for now would I kill thee. Doesn't question the fact he's talking to a donkey. But he's like, I'm hitting you because you're mocking me. That way I'm trying to go and you're not doing it, you're not moving. So I would even kill you. And the ass said unto Balaam, and not I thine ass upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to not do so unto thee? And he said, nay. So has there ever been a time where I didn't take you where you wanted to go before? Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, so now he can see everything. And he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. So now he sees the angel, and he's afraid. And the angel of the Lord said to him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. So he's like, I was here to kill you. And the ass saw me, and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee, and saved her lives. And if she didn't turn away, I would have killed you. And she would have just been fine, but you I would have killed. And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men. So when Balaam was trying to back out, he's like, look, okay, if you don't want me to go, I won't go. He's like, well, at this point, go with the men. But only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. So again, he's like, you really weren't supposed to even be trying to go. But you're going now, so go, but only speak the words that I've given you. Again, the whole donkey bit, and we see the Lord open the mouth of the donkey and open the eyes of Balaam. It's all to show Balaam, the Lord's power in that, hey, you really weren't supposed to go, but now you're going, this is what you're going to do. 36. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the utmost coast. And Balak said to Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? And Am I not able indeed to promote thee to honor? And Balaam said unto Balak, Lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came unto Kirjath Huzoth. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam, and brought him up into the high places of Baal, that hence he might see the utmost part of the people.
Read, man.
Thank you. Yeah. Anything you want to say about 22?
I mean, to me, it's just kind of like, it's funny to me. First thing first is, Balaam, from what we can read, wasn't Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, it says who he was. He was, son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the children of his people. So Pethor, darn it. I'm pretty sure that is like where the Hittites were. Pethor.
Point being,
It's like Mesopotamia. So it's like around the area where the Hittites and like the Assyrians were. So like
right.
and it says like the lands of his people.
Right.
So like he definitely was not an Israelite, especially since they all were over there.
Point being, this just is an example of just like what was his name, Jethro,
Yeah.
right? So to fall under Israel was chosen to be a priest, and we talked about this plenty of times, but it's good that we keep showing examples of it. But the point being, God chose Israel to do a job, but Israel is not the only people that God's ever dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
Or ever talked to, and like
right.
the broadest sense of the term.
Exactly. Yeah. So point being, like, it's never been only Israel, only Israel, only Israel. So don't buy into that lie, because people will say it. Yeah. But that's just not true. We see an example here. Like, this man had a relationship with God. And not only that, but Balak knew that he did. Like, he knew who to go to when...
That's why he called him.
Exactly. When he was going to seek the Lord or ask the Lord or something. He was like, we're going to go to Balaam because this is what he does. I just think that's a good example of that. But also, it's funny to me that Balaam had the right response every time. Like, he basically kept saying, bro, it ain't even up to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's never up to me. It's what the Lord says. But Balak thought he can pay, you know what I'm saying?
But buy what he wanted to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens, but...
Like, yeah, that happens. And, like, I won't even say that all this happened here, because I do not believe necessarily, like, before, like, the angel and the donkey, that Balaam necessarily would have just said what Balak wanted to hear for the sake of, like, getting the riches. Yeah. But the thing is, his thing was moved. Like, his compass, ever so slightly, was moved because of the offer. Where the Lord already told him, don't go up with these dudes. Like, it's already, like, don't go up. They want you to curse them. They aren't going to be cursed. They're going to be blessed. Don't go up with them. But because we saw that the offer was more and more stuff, and pretty much anything is like, well, maybe if this time I check with the Lord, I'll get a different answer.
Right.
Which is the thing. Like, and we'll see there's similar examples of this throughout the Bible where the Lord gives you his answer, and that is his answer. And he'll even be like, all right, go do whatever you want. Where I'm not saying you can do whatever you want, but I told you the answer, and you've heard it, but like, why do you keep asking me the same question?
Right.
I gave you the answer. You just didn't get the answer you wanted. So you really want me to change what I'm saying because you didn't get an answer you like. And so he's just like, well, all right, go do whatever you want, man.
And it goes to shows, like, I don't know, when you put it that way, it's a little, because we see examples of Elisha, right? Who was doing the work of God, but money wasn't even a factor for him. Mm-hmm. Like, we seen someone ended up getting leprosy because they took the money and things of that nature. But point being, like, in this case, money was able to move someone. And I just think it's all fitting, because we read in Proverbs yesterday about how, like, man, it'd be right there, but I'll be forgetting. I can go find it real quick. But the point is, man, money shouldn't be moving us. We talked about the love of money being the root of all evil.
Yeah.
How money can move people. And we also talked about how, the the Sabbath says don't work, but for like good enough price, you might be movable on that, but you're not supposed to be. Like even here, like you said, God already gave his answer. Don't work on the Sabbath. God already gave his answer. Don't go up with them. Like Israel gonna be blessed. You know what I'm saying? Right. Under no circumstance are you gonna curse Israel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But point being, money shouldn't be a factor in terms of our relationship with God. Like it should God first, everything else after. Right? But I do like, and this is what I was talking about with Moses, like, because, like, in verse, he said it again, verse 38, Balaam said unto Balak, Lo, I come unto thee, have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. Point being, like, I feel like that was Moses in a whole, like, Moses was great, but he just did what God told him to do. Like when God said, "Hey, take all air stuff off, strip him of his position. He's about to die. Give it to Eleazar." It was like, "Hey, this is what God say to do." You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do is what God says to do. And I think when you put it that way, it gets very simple. Like just do what God says to do. It don't matter. Like we talked about it before, take your emotions out of it. You cannot. It says the mind is deceitfully wicked above all things. Who can know it? Like our emotions and our feelings and this flesh will get us killed and cut off from God. We cannot walk according to the flesh or the fleshly desires, but of the Spirit. And the Spirit's going to tell you do what God says no matter what. That makes sense. So. But you got anything else to add on that? On the chapter at all?
No, just the same things.
Alright. Chapter 23 and verse 1. And Balaam said unto Balak, Build me here 7 altars. And prepare me here 7 oxen and 7 rams. So now they come together. Now Balaam's telling Balak what to do. We got the priest and the king. He said, build 7 altars and bring me 7 oxen and ram. Verse 2. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and ram. So we got 7 altars. Every altar had one oxen and 1 ram sacrificed. Verse 3. And Balaam said unto Balak, Stand by thy burnt offering, and I will go. Peradventure the Lord will come to meet me, and whatsoever he showeth me, I will tell thee. And he went to an high place. And God met Balaam, and he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. So now Balaam separated himself, and God came to meet him. And Balaam's like, all right, so I prepared 7 altars. I've offered up these things to you. Verse 5. And the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, Return unto Balak, and thus shalt thou speak. So now the Lord told Balaam what to tell, like what to say to Balak in terms of his wants. Verse 6. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his parable and said, Balak, so now he's going to tell Balak what God told him. Verse 7, and he took up his parable and said, Balak, the king of Moab, hath brought me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come curse me, Jacob, and come defy Israel. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy whom the Lord hath not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned amongst the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like this. And Balak said unto Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. Because that's what God told Balaam. Like, and we read it here. He's like, he came and told a parable. The parable basically being, hey, this is Israel. Like, you're not going to curse them. It says, how shall I curse them who the gods have not cursed? Like, keep in mind, this is God's people, Israel. God's taking care of them. We can't curse them. How shall I defy whom the Lord hath not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. But Balak's like, I told you to curse them, and you came back and you blessed them. But like we read in the last chapter, it's not Balaam making the decisions, it's God. He's just really the mouthpiece. Verse 12. And he answered and said, must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? So he tells him, like, am I not supposed to tell you what God told me? Like, all I'm like I said, he's just the mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? Verse 13. And Balak said unto him, come, I pray thee, with me unto another place, from whence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the uttermost part of them, and shalt not see them all, and curse me them from thence. And he brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. And he said unto Balak, stand near thy burnt offering, while I meet the Lord yonder. So they're doing the same thing in a different place. And he's going out to go meet with the Lord. Verse 16. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, go again unto Balak, and say thus. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offerings, and the prince of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what hath the Lord said? And he took up his parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is man that he should not lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed. I cannot reverse it. So now he's saying, like I just told you, like, long story short, these people are blessed. Like, I was told to bless these people. I can't reverse it. I'm not going to change it because you want me to curse them. No, God said bless them. We're going to bless them. Verse 21. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. So he's just really talking about Israel and really describing, like, why we can't curse these people. And long story short, in a parable of words, this is God's people. He already has a plan. They're going into they're going in to conquer and take over this holy land flowing with milk and honey and things of that nature. So they, like, the people of Moab are not going to come and change that just because they're afraid. Verse, where we at? 25. And Balak said unto Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I thee, saying, all that the Lord speaketh, that must I do? So he's like, all right, how about this? We're not going to curse them, but don't bless them either. And Balaam was like, bro, what are you not understanding? I told you what the Lord says, that's what I'm going to do. Verse 27. Balak said unto Balaam, come, I pray thee, I will bring thee unto another place. Peradventure will please God that thou mayest curse me them from thence. And Balak brought Balaam unto the top of Peor that looketh towards Jeshimon. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. Then, but he did it again. Was this the 3rd time? He built the altars and made the sacrifices, trying to get a different answer from the Lord.
Yeah. Even that, like, very set answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a good thing. Balaam, after seeing the donkey and the angel, got his act right so much as was more direct and, like, boasting in that, like, no, I'm gonna do what the, like very strict, like, I'm gonna do what the Lord says. Like,
yeah.
no.
Bro,
Like, that's what he said. And then even with the line, like, okay, well, how about we just don't do anything?
Right, yeah.
He's just like, well, no, I know. Like, I've been told to bless them now, so I am going to bless them.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the funniest thing. Because, like, of course, the Lord may still give a message to Balaam to, like, bless the children of Israel, even if none of this happened with Balak, right? And even with this happening with Balak may have happened because the Lord wanted that to be the outcome. But still, the idea is, for like on Balak's side, it's funny. Well, if I never asked for him to come in the first place, it may have been better than if I tried to like get this dude to curse them, and now he's blessing them. So it's kind of funny in that way.
But to your point about like that second wind. You know what I'm saying? He not only did he speak to a donkey and a donkey spoke back, he seen the angel and was like, "Bro, you was about to die." Like, I was
gonna kill you.
Right. So that'll spark some change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't want to live right after that. But yeah, Numbers 23. Think we're good for 24?
Yeah.
All right. Numbers 24 and verse 1. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments, but set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. So he was looking out at the children of Israel. And he took up his parable, and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel. As the valleys are they spread forth, as the gardens by the river side, as the trees of line aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as cedar trees beside the waters. He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and the seed shall be in many waters. And his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations his enemies, and shall break their bones, and pierce them through his arrow, with his arrow. So now he's speaking of the greatness of Israel. Their kingdom will be great. They will have this strength. He couched, he lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. So this is his blessing of Israel. They will be blessed, and blessed will be those that bless them, and cursed will be those that curse them. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. So now he's mad. He's like, you blessed them 3 times. And I called you to curse them at least once. Therefore, now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, the Lord hath kept thee back from honor. Which is the funny thing. People will say that, but the Lord always gets the last laugh. Verse 12. And Balaam said unto Balak, Spake I not also to thy messengers which thou sentest unto me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord, to either good or bad of mine own mind. But what the Lord saith, thou liest speak. He's like, yeah, that tell your servants the same thing. It doesn't matter. I will do what the Lord commands. There's nothing you could give me. And really, we all should be the same way. 14. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. He's like, well, now, I'm going to tell you what Israel's going to do to you. So now he's going to start prophesying. 15. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance and having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and the scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth. So now he's prophesying, a star out of Jacob, and the scepter shall rise out of Israel. Then Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. So even here, it's really speaking about Jesus in the future. Right? And this is even prophesying about when he comes back, he'll do a lot of these things. But Edom being a possession of Israel. Seir, which is like Mount Seir. The same way we have like Mount Zion for Israel, there was Mount Seir for Edom that like represent their land. Right? But even said, I'll destroy the children of Sheth and the corners of Moab. 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And he looked upon the Kenites, and took up his parable, and said, Strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in the rock. Nevertheless, the Kenites should be wasted, until Asher shall carry thee away captive. And he took up his parable, and said, Alas, who shall live when God doeth this? And ships shall come from the coast of Shittim, and shall afflict Asher, and shall afflict Eber, and he also shall perish forever. And Balaam rose up, and went, and returned to his place, and Balak also went his way. Thank you very much. Chapter 24. Yeah. So we just have Balaam here blessing Israel again.
It's funny because he got mad too. Hey, you should have took your answer. Like, he said it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said as you were reading, bro, like this has to be us. Like it's been a consistent theme as we talked about being unmovable, staying steadfast in the faith. Paul even said, what did he say? Where he said, "Lest I myself also be a castaway." Like, but the point is, you have to keep grinding, and nothing should be able to move you from what thus says the Lord. Like how, hey, he verse 13 so cold to me. He's like, didn't I say if Balak would give me his house full of silvers and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord? Like, it don't matter what you got to give me, I cannot go against the commandment of the Lord, period. There's no money, there's no riches, there's no women, there's nothing that you can give me to make me go against the commandment of the Lord. So, to me, that's real dope.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about 24. I mean, I love the prophecy of Jesus. Just because it's always good to see that, like, Jesus was literally talked about from the beginning of from Genesis all the way down to Malachi. Jesus is prophesied constantly. Like, we always, go to, like, some of the later prophets in terms of, like, Isaiah, Jeremiah, to look at, like, signs of Jesus coming. But it's even, like I said, prophesied here, right? Where, like, when you get to the New Testament, they were looking for the King of the Jews. They were looking for their king that would deliver them to do these things. This is who they were looking for. These were the scriptures that they were looking at, waiting for Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, that's all I have to say about 24. Do you want to do 25 and then, like, quit it?
I was going to say that, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's my turn?
I believe so. I think I read 24, right? I don't remember.
We gotta stop doing that, bro. Because I forgot. But I read 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredoms with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto... I'm sorry. And verse 2. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat, and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take all the heads of the people, and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, Slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman, in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the doors of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the men of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake amongst them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was the head over the people and of a chief house in Midian. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Vex the Midianites and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the days of the plague for Peor's sake. The end.
Good reading. Chapter 25. Yeah. I think this is a good example of, well, like, first things first. The issue here, I think this is one of those places I can show clearly. The issue, like, sometimes we'll see, like, the Lord talking about, like, strangers, and a lot of times we'll see very clearly that strangers should also keep the law. The stranger of the land must also keep this law. The stranger wants to come to the tabernacle, they need to be circumcised. Not that, like, stranger can be there or anything of the sort, because even remember when they came out of the land of Egypt, when you look at, like, Exodus 12 and Exodus 13, it was a mixed multitude. Which means it was Israelites as well as other peoples, some Egyptians, and maybe like other people too, right? But to the point that sometimes you'll read and you'll see places where like the Lord will say, hey, don't engage in marriages with the people of the land. And sometimes people will take that and try to be like, oh, the Lord is against like what they'll call like interracial marriages or interracial relationships. But he always, like, most of the time, pretty much every single time, ends with the preface, because they will draw you away from the Lord your God, will draw you to, like, their gods and other gods, right? That's, like, always his reasoning. Yeah, tenderizes, did Moses marry a woman from Midian? She's a perfect example, where it's to the point that was his issue, was that they served other gods. They didn't serve the Lord, but Israel did. So I don't want you like marrying and intermingling with people who don't serve God. Like separating yourself, right? And like you to turn away and go to them, which is what we see here, right? With the daughters of Moab, where they turned them, slay everyone his man that were joined to Baal Peor. The issue wasn't that they just started marrying Moabite women. Is that they started committing whoredom with them, and that they started going off and doing things with Baal Peor, which, if you don't know, Baal Peor, or sometimes Peor, or just Baal for short, is like a false god. Basically, it's an idol, in other words. So, that they literally what he told them not to happen started happening here, right? And then even to back to the example, Moses marrying Midianite, he married Zipporah, who, if you remember, was the daughter of Jethro, who was the priest of the Most High God. Jethro knew the Lord. Jethro gave Moses advice on how he should run the darn camp. And even more so, if you remember, although in the verse they don't say Jethro, they call him Jethro. Moses invited Jethro and his sons to come and live with the Israelites. And like Jethro ended up rejecting it, saying, I need to go back home. But like that would not have happened if the issue or all the talk about strangers living in the land and stuff of the sort. If it was plainly, I don't want you race mixing. No, it was that you need to serve God. So when Moses married a Midianite woman who was serving the Lord, there was no issue. But here, obviously, the daughters of Moab here were not, because they drew them away to Baal Peor. Yeah, and then even with the other Midianite woman here too, it's the same thing. Which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake. That's verse 18. Peor, again, Baal Peor. So that's why it even happened with the Midianite woman too, because it's the same thing. You're drawing them away to false gods. And there are way more examples of, and I guess you call it interracial marriages or stuff of the sort in the Bible. Example being Timothy, right? Timothy, his mom was an Israelite, his father was a Greek. Like I said, Moses and mine's blinking. Moses and Miriam, I think Miriam. Zipporah being a really good example. Another good example is David and was it Abigail?
Yeah.
Where I believe she was not an Israelite either, but like she was incredibly righteous. And a lot more.
And to that point in Numbers 12 that we read, Moses married
an Ethiopian. Yes.
Yeah, so it's just not. But I also don't even want to stop it at marriage. Like, the point is yoke. Like as we begin to read and understand the Bible, really, the marriage is you yoking yourself with another individual of the opposite sex,
like
right?
Permanently.
Yeah, permanently. But it's like, really, it's yoking yourself, period. Like, whether it be your friends, like, don't be friends of these other nations, or in other words, people that don't serve your God, which is really what the Bible's been telling us already, you know what I'm saying? And we've only seen examples of whether it be Korah, or whether it be these people that started bowing down to Baal Peor. It's always, you with the wrong crowd, I guess you could say, or you're with those that don't serve your God. Right. So, like we were saying, separate yourself and don't marry a woman or a man that ain't serving your God. Don't be friends with someone who ain't serving your God. That don't mean don't show no love to these people. Like, we're supposed to love our neighbor, period. We're supposed to love our enemies, period.
Yeah.
But like yoking ourselves and walking as if we agree, that should never be you.
Right. And I think even to the point that, like, because someone like may end up with a thought process or like going like, oh, well, what about like Israelites that didn't serve God? Like, God never said anything about that. Right? He only mentioned the stranger. And well, that's because the Israelites who didn't serve God were killed. That's literally how it worked. That's what, like, all the law that we read. Well, if they do this, we'll come off from amongst their people. If they do this, if they do... So the sinners amongst Israel are already being killed. But you can't do anything about everyone else throughout the world. Or, like, throughout the nations you're going to, so on and so forth. So if you pick from one of them, it's going to... Not automatically, because, again, we do see even Balaam himself being an example, right? Where he knew the Lord before he even met Israel, or knew about them. Same with, like, even Jethro Zipporah. But, like, a majority of the time, they aren't going to know God, and they're going to draw you away to something else.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, again, like, the issue never had anything to do with race mixing. Like, sometimes people try to make it about, but it's all just about being righteous. And like you said, and that goes beyond just dating or marriage or anything of that sort. It has to do with just keeping yourself, like, righteous for the Lord. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say about 25.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
Alright, cool.
It's like Jesus kicking it with Satan. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that'll never happen. Jesus don't rock with Satan. You know what I'm saying? So, hey.
Oh, that's it. Okay. I remembered something.
What?
Just to the point that like we said, we don't like not being cruel or not being to people who don't know. Because especially now in this day and age, it's the thing of you never know when someone's gonna come into the fold, and you shouldn't be wicked or mean or evil in just your deeds or anything of the sort to anyone ever, really, right? Like the Bible talks a lot about evil, like someone doing evil to you does not justify you doing evil back, but to the point that you never know when someone's going to enter the flock. So now you've been cruel to someone who ends up being a member of, like, I guess, a member of the congregation, ends up being Christian, ends up following the Lord, right? That's all that matters. Paul being an excellent example of such a thing. Yeah. Good point, Jennifer. You literally marry one person, date a few to find that one. You come across a lot more people in everyday life. Yeah. So this principle applies heavily for marriage because you only get the one, right? But also very heavily in your day-to-day life because you should be doing the same thing with everyone, where like you're dealing more so with the righteous than the wicked. But still, to the point, you never know when someone's going to come in. Paul being a great example because Paul was literally a dude that would go into houses and drag out Christians to have them killed. And then he became one of the greatest missionaries creating churches left and right? So, like, you never know. So you should never judge someone based off of where they are. We never know who's going to come to the fold. And so we should treat everyone kindly. And that's not the only reason to treat everyone kindly, but I'm saying that is a reason.
Yeah, like, don't forget the mission, in other words.
Yeah.
You know, when Jesus left, he gave us a mission. To spread the gospel to every nation, to every creature.
Yeah.
Point being, we still got to walk with love, and it's our duty to spread the gospel, to teach to people that don't know, in the spirit of meekness. What is it, Galatians 6? Restore one another in meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So, like, in everything, whether we're teaching, you know, or giving correction, we should always be doing it in meekness and in the spirit of love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, because don't forget, that was Israel's job in the first place, was to preach to these nations. Obviously, it didn't work that way, but I mean, it very well could have been a situation where Israel ended up talking to who was it? The Moabs and
the Moabites or the Edomites,
right?
Or like whoever they were passing through.
Obviously, it don't always work that way. Some people ain't gonna do it, blah blah blah. But that's not for you to judge. You're supposed to plant the seed, water the seed, and give it to God at that point, right? But anyway, you got anything else on 25?
No. That's all I gotta say. Alright, cool. Was there a verse you wanted to go to end it? I literally had something in mind earlier, but I can't remember one.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mentioned that Galatians 6.
Yeah. Alright. You want to go to the Old Faithful? First Timothy, not second.
Steady.
I would say First Timothy, that's it.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, okay.
I'm really looking at yours.
Oh, okay. Alright, so yeah, 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that thee not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. I'm going to read 17 through 19.
Sure.
And their word will eat as doth a canker, of whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. So we all should be working to show ourselves approved unto God. That's by studying. That's by reading this word of God. Like he says, rightly dividing the word of truth. Just mean reading it, studying it continually. That's what we're doing here now. We're reading the word of God. But you also should be doing it many of the time when we're not like here. I guess we're not live, whatever you want to call it. Right? And we all should work to shun profane and vain babblings. We shouldn't worry about what, I think I said something like this yesterday or even in the beginning of today. We shouldn't worry about what man says, right? Let God be true, every man a liar. And we saw something similar in the Proverbs, if I recall correctly. Right? For they will increase unto more godliness. It doesn't matter what people say here in the world now. What matters is what the Lord says here in the Bible, here in the Word of God. And their word will eat as doth a canker. So like a canker, like you think of like a sore, it'll eat away at you, right? Like because it all will be to your own destruction. Of whom is Hymenaeus of flesh. But just two examples, we don't really get to see too much, but just like false prophets, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already and overthrow the faith of the Son. So they're basically false doctrine, saying the resurrection hasn't passed for us either, right? But this day they're saying the resurrection is past, but they're wrong. But they're drawing people away from the truth, from the faith. And we have that in many ways. We're saying, like, once saved, always saved, right? Like salvation means like you going up to heaven. So many things, right? That's not the point. But the point is that whatever those things are, we should not be hearing them, but hearing the Word of God. Because at the end of the day, the Word of God is your foundation for what you are believing. Right? Nevertheless, the foundation of God stands sure, that is this Word. It is sure, and everything else is false. Having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his, and let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. All should be working to read this Word and depart from sin. But in the great house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some honor, some dishonor. Which means not everyone is going to get salvation, but not everyone who's of the faith or say that they are of the faith truly are and will receive that like eternal life, right? That salvation, because really all that comes from your actions, what you choose to do, what you decide to do, what you decide to listen to, right? Will be that determining factor. That's why I spend so much time trying to shun those profane things, and why I study the Word, because that's how you know what's bad and what's true. Yeah. Which one you want to go to?
No, but that was good.
All right, cool. In that case, we are done for today. As always, thank you all for joining us. Tomorrow's Saturday. So Lord willing, we will see you Sunday, where we'll continue our reading of Numbers. Numbers is what, 28 chapters?
No,
that's 38.
30, yeah.
I think it's 38 chapters.
36, maybe.
36. Well, we're very close to finishing up. So Lord willing, we'll do that maybe Sunday or Monday of next week. But until then, Lord willing, have a good night, and we'll see you then.
Hey, blessed Sabbath.
A blessed Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's Friday, sundown. We know that the Sabbath is from sundown to evening to evening, sundown to sundown on the 7th day. So from Friday night to Saturday night, that's the Sabbath. So, and that's what it is right now. It's dark outside Friday night. So
dark where we are. So it's
right.
10 mostly everywhere.
In America.
In America, yes. But most definitely.
Point being, let's have it. Pray everyone's having a good Sabbath and
peace.
Yeah.
Where can we read that? The Sabbath, Exodus 20. You also can read about what is first created in Genesis 2. You can read about from the evening into the morning, how the Lord does his days in Genesis 1. For tender-eyed sister.
Well, no, let's read it then. Let's just read it real quick.
Yeah. So, you're closer to Genesis than I am, so I'll go to Exodus 20. Alright. So this is Exodus 20. This is what sometimes what people will call the Ten Commandments. So Exodus 20, and I'm going to start at verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So on the Sabbath day, which is the seventh day of the week, you're supposed to do no work. You or no one in your house, no one around you, right? Because, we'll go to verse 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So the Lord made the Sabbath day, the seventh day, special. A day for all of us to rest, to not do any work, and to celebrate and congregate around Him. And that's something I can go to Leviticus 23 after we see Genesis. But yeah, we're going to go to Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 as well. Blessed Sabbath, Abigail. And just so we can see what Exodus 20 is referring to here in verse 11 and in 8. And remembering the Sabbath day the Lord created
Well, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Point being, even when we read in Exodus 20 where it says, God made heaven and earth and everything therein, the man, the animals, sea, all that. He made it in the first 6 days. And on the seventh He rested. So but we see this is the process. This is the first day and He made the light. But we see in terms of the day, right? God doesn't make mention of a new day starting at 12 a.m. in the middle of the night, right? Yeah. That it really kind of doesn't even make sense. For real, because you got to think, even when Adam himself was here, they didn't have clocks. You know what I mean?
That's something made up by
right, man. Exactly. So they didn't have things like that. It was just it's dark outside, it's a new day, right? Because it says evening and morning were a new day. But then I'm not gonna read the whole creation. We can go down to chapter 2 and verse 1, and it says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts in them." So we read in Exodus 20, the 6 days He created everything, and now He's finished. He's made everything. And now verse 2, and on the seventh day God ended His work which He hath made, and He rested on the seventh day from all His work which He hath made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it He rested from all His work which God hath made, which God hath created and made. So point being, God sanctified this seventh day. He worked all 6 days, and He Himself rested on the seventh day. And then, as we read in Exodus 20, you're going to read in Leviticus 23, He commanded us also to rest on this day and do no work and things of that nature. But point being, the day was from evening to morning, which means dark, light, and when it gets back to evening, it's a new day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I'm going to read Leviticus 23 and just verse 3. I don't know, I'll read 2 and 3. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, even these are my feasts. So these are holy convocations, which just means holy gathering unto the Lord, right? So there's certain times where the Lord wants us. We read Leviticus already, but Leviticus 23, just in case you don't know, it tells us all the feasts, the days, holy convocations where the Lord wants us to gather in His name, right? And one of them, the foremost being, most common occurring, verse 3, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, right? So it's the Sabbath. And holy convocation, you shall do no work therein, is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. So the Sabbath is one of these holy convocations. So that is why, on the Sabbath, we'll go up to a church. Or even you'll read here in the Bible a lot of the time that they went up to the tabernacle, or they went to the synagogue if they weren't near Jerusalem or wherever the tabernacle or temple was at the time. right? Because they all had to gather for the Sabbath. That's just part of the commandment. That's what we're reading here in Leviticus 23. So part of the Sabbath is not working, not doing any work, or and those of your house, like your whole house essentially resting, right? And as well as having a holy convocation, like going up somewhere, typically like a church, right? But yeah, that's just like some quick reading about the Sabbath. Yeah.
So I have to say, bless Sabbath.
Yes, bless Sabbath. Yeah, bless Sabbath, worst reviewer. Yeah. But, yeah. So with all that being said, yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Lord willing, we will see you Sunday.
Peace.
Peace.